I finished up my Friday the 13th series a while back, and I've been pushing off doing the rankings until a very specific date. And in November, that date actually occurs. And I'm talking about Friday the 13th, so I thought no better date to release my Friday the 13th rankings than on Friday the 13th. So, without further ado, let's get into these rankings. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, definitely go ahead and click that like, click that subscribe, and help me grow this channel, and I'll keep pumping out this beautiful mediocre content surrounded by this beautiful mediocre background, baby. Just help me keep growing, and I'll keep doing what I'm doing. So like I said, this is my Friday the 13th rankings. I've been waiting to do this for so long, so I think there's no better time than right now to get this thing pumped out to you guys. So, coming in at last place, oh, by the way, I also included Never Hike Alone and Never Hike in the Snow in these rankings as well. I know they're not officially canon, but I felt that they were good enough to be included in this, so I just wanted to let you guys know that I did include them. Vincent DeSanti, they were fantastic, so I had to put them in. But number 14, obvious choice for most people, Jason Goes to Hell. If you want to see a shitty Jason movie, this is the one you're going to go to. It has zero Friday the 13th vibes. It's more of a body horror movie, jumping from body to body to body. If you like people eating bloody pieces of shit, then this is the movie for you. And if you really only want to see Jason for about, I don't know, 10 minutes, then you'll really love this movie, because he's not even barely in this movie. Other people are doing Jason's killing because he's not a person, he's an entity that can pass from body to body. It's just not a good movie, and it's not even worth me talking about anymore. So that's why it is in last place on this list. Next up, number 13. A good buddy of mine loves this movie. It's one of his favorite Friday the 13th movies. I do not like it. Hardly at all. It's pretty terrible. I'm talking about Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Or as everybody calls it, Jason Takes a Boat. This also has no Friday the 13th vibes at all. Doesn't even take place at Crystal Lake. And they wanted to push this New York idea on us. About 10 minutes of the movie takes place in New York because the budget didn't allow for any more of the movie to take place there. So, most of the movie was filmed in Vancouver because it was cheaper to film there, so that's why they're passing off these shots and scenes as New York when, in fact, they're in Vancouver. Jason is too slimy for me. His mask is yellow for some reason. He got his mask from a kid that had the exact mask that he wore with the axe mark in it. Makes no sense. Characters suck. Final Girl Rennie sucks. Not a huge Kane Hodder fan. That's why it's at the bottom of this list, unfortunately. Number 12. And I can have fun with this movie. Jason X. Once again, does not take place in Camp Crystal Lake. Takes place in the future on a spaceship. Once a movie goes to space, that's kind of the end of that franchise. We're going to have to reboot it. We're going to have to do something because you took them to space. There's no coming back from it. But you can watch this movie and have a fun time with it. It's a fun little sci-fi Jason flick. Would I watch this in a marathon of the Friday the 13th series? Not a chance. Can you have fun with it? Of course you can. The characters are lackluster. They're not nothing special, nothing to write home about at all. The score is not that great either. It's like futuristic and stuff. I ain't a fan of that. Kane Hodder's Jason, and he was okay. It wasn't terrible. But it's just not anywhere close to the caliber of anything that's going to come after this film. It's just a quick, fun little horror film that probably shouldn't have been made, but it had Jason in it, so they said, shit, let's pump that shit out and see what the fans think. And it's a fun little ride, but it's not good at all. And that's why it's probably number 12 for me. At number 11, this might piss some people off. Freddy vs. Jason. When I was a kid, when this came out, fell in love, couldn't get enough of this movie. As an adult and on rewatch, I really don't like it that much. I don't enjoy it. I don't like most of the characters. The final girl, yes, she is very attractive, but she's rather annoying, really whiny. Jason's look is awful. There's no heart in this Jason at all. It's like he doesn't want to be there, and it shows throughout the whole movie. It's more of a Freddy movie with let's throw a little bit of Jason in there, because the whole plot really revolves around Freddy and him bringing Jason back to life. So I think that's one reason I don't like it that much. I'm not really a Freddy guy. I think we needed more of a Jason-centric Freddy vs. Jason, and then I would have been super pleased, but I just can't get into this movie anymore. So that's why I have it ranked at 11. At number 10, a lot of people really, really love this movie too. Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. Watching it for the first time, you really think it's Jason. You think Jason came back and he's killing all these people, even though when you look at his mask, he has blue chevrons, he's like wearing a Michael Myers jumpsuit. He's kind of not even close to the size, in my opinion, as the old previous Jason. But as the movie goes along, we find out the killer was actually Roy Burns, who had a son at the mental institution that was killed earlier in the film. So the reveal is kind of like, I don't even really remember who that is. For the most part, they really didn't even give any clues as to who the killer was, even though every time Roy was on screen, they like zoomed into his face and he had a weird look on his face. So he kind of was getting the idea that it was him. The characters in this film, I do not like. I don't really like any of the characters. Tommy Jarvis is continued in this film. Obviously, he wasn't played by Corey Feldman anymore. He was okay. He was more of a karate kicking ass kind of guy. But he was okay. It was an okay performance. He's about the only character. Besides, one bright spot in this movie. Oh no, two bright spots. I'm sorry. Demon and Reggie the Reckless. Damn enchiladas! Demon wasn't in this movie enough. They should have had him in at least half of this movie. The score would have went up for me big time.
Hey baby, ooh baby, ooh baby, ooh baby, ooh baby.
Very enjoyable character that we didn't get enough of. And Reggie the Reckless was very enjoyable, but I'm assuming because the fact that he was a kid, maybe they didn't want him on screen. They didn't want a kid to lead this movie, which they should have, because he was amazing in the movie and he was one of the bright spots. But overall, this movie's just boring for me. Yes, the kills are there. It was directed by like a porno director, so there was a lot of nudity in this movie. But it felt a little like a Friday the 13th film. It just didn't do it for me once I knew Jason wasn't in it at the end. I just was like, wow, it was very pointless, and which is why they brought him back later in the following sequel. So that's why I got Part 5 at number 10. At number 9, I have Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. Kane Hodder's first portrayal as Jason. Lar Park Lincoln is the final girl in this movie. It is basically Carrie versus Jason, because they couldn't do Freddy versus Jason at the time. It was nice to see Jason have an opponent that's just as powerful as he is and actually give him a battle. That was enjoyable. The fights between Tina and Jason were incredible. She was beating his ass pretty much, doing anything she wanted to do to him. However, the rest of the characters in this movie, like the others, are terrible. Didn't like or enjoy any of them. The kills were cut way back because of the MPAA, so they were not enjoyable for me either. I mean, he killed somebody with a party horn, for crying out loud. In the face, man! A party horn! Nobody does that. The ending was terrible. Bringing back her ghost dad to kill Jason and put him back down in the lake? No. I don't like that. She could have done something else that was just corny, and I did not like it at all. It was a really boring movie for the most part. But upon rewatch, I did have a little bit more fun with it than I remember. Basically the third act. But other than that, it's just slow, boring-ass movie that I don't totally enjoy. I don't know, and I'm also not a Kane Hodder fan as much as that would hurt some people. I'm going to be doing my Jason rankings as well. That should be coming out close to this as well. You'll see where he ends up on that list, but that's why I got part 7 at number 9. At number 8, this might piss off more people. Friday the 13th, the original from 1980. Never really got into this one. I did not have the nostalgia for this one. I focused more on Jason than I did Mrs. Voorhees, even though Betsy Palmer kills it.
Did you know that a young boy drowned the year before those 2 others were killed? The counselors weren't paying any attention. They were making love while that young boy
Mrs.
drowned.
Voorhees. She does an amazing job. She shows out for that movie, and she's a creepy ass killer. You had no idea throughout this movie who the killer was going to be. They never pointed to any one person at all. And then all of a sudden at the end, boom! Hey, I'm Mrs. Voorhees, a friend of the Christies. You're like, who the fuck is this lady? Who is this lady? Then she goes into the whole Jason spiel. You should have been watching him every minute! Jason wasn't a very good swimmer. And you're like, oh, okay. Little boy drowned, that's his mom. And killing people because they weren't paying attention to Jason. But even though these counselors had nothing to do with it. She's just there to shut this camp down so it never reopens. The ending, iconic. Final girl Alice, who, by the way, is terrible, and pretty much only survived because she was lucky, because she was getting her ass beat by Mrs. Voorhees. Chops off Mrs. Voorhees' head. Great effects for 1980s, the blood squirting out, she's reaching for her neck. Iconic ending. But other than that, this movie's just boring for me. It does introduce Kevin Bacon, which I love Kevin Bacon, so that was awesome. But it just doesn't do it for me. I don't have, like I said, I don't have the nostalgia factor. It's very boring and slow to me. And they just copied off Halloween for the most part. So that's why I have that one at number 8. At number 7, Never Hike in the Snow. The fan film by Vincent DiSanti. It was very good. However, I was kind of let down. I know the ending was the way it was because they're having more in this series of films. But upon first watch, I was like, wow, that was it? That's what we're getting? That's what we're getting? That was it? It was fun. It was fun. I didn't expect it to be that short compared to the first one. Ghost Jason's badass. The axe kill was amazing with the blood squirting out and it going into his mouth. That was awesome. The shotgun kill on the cop, that was badass as well. On those 2 kills alone, would put it in this spot. The Jason with his mother, it was okay. I wasn't a huge fan of the look of his mother or her voice. It has a good start to a story, but I have to put it here because it's just the beginning of this story. Once we get some more pieces and appreciate this one for what it is, I might move it up in the rankings. But as of now, it would have to stay at number 7 for me. This is going to piss some more people off. That's what I'm here to do, baby. At number 6, Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. I don't like the look of Jason in this movie at all. It's Home Depot Jason. Why he got them like yellow gloves on and that utility belt, no freaking clue. The soundtrack to this is badass. Ton of Alice Cooper. You can't beat that shit. Tom Matthews as Tommy Jarvis is great. I think his portrayal was up there. I still love Corey Feldman more, but Tom Matthews did a great job as Tommy Jarvis. Most of the characters in this movie, hit or miss for me. Megan, the final girl, I guess, because it's like a tag team. I did like her. I thought for back in the day she was very attractive, and she did a great job in the role as helping Tommy, you know, evade the police and get back to the camp and whatnot. Kills in this movie are okay. That paintball scene's super corny. Should have not been in the movie. But that RV crash was badass when he's standing on top. It's on fire. That's an awesome shot. I do like that as well. It's the first Friday the 13th movie with no nudity. And also the first Friday the 13th movie to actually feature kids at the camp. So it's definitely pumping out that camp atmosphere, and I definitely am digging that. So also CJ Graham's performance as Jason was pretty badass. I did like him as Jason. He did a great job. Just didn't like the look. I liked the walk and how his mannerisms and everything. I just didn't like the look of his belt and the gloves. But other than that, this is a fun movie. Pop in from time to time. I'd say I don't watch this one as much as some of the others, but it was still pretty good. At number 5, Vincent DeSanti's other film, Never Hike Alone. This is about a 50-minute length fan film. Totally badass. Tom Matthews is in this movie again. He was also in Never Hike in the Snow for a little bit. Oh my gosh, follows around this hiker, hiking up by Camp Crystal Lake, investigating all the cabins and whatnot, and then runs into Mr. Ghost Jason Voorhees, who looks amazing. They battle back and forth throughout this film. It's kind of like an isolation film because he's all by himself out there. It was pretty badass, I ain't gonna lie. I fell in love with this movie the first time I saw it. I watched it a bunch of times since. It just flows really well. There's a great story. I can't wait to see where it goes in the sequels. Vincent DeSanti knows what he's doing. He loves the franchise. He's taking care of Jason. It's amazing. And as long as Tom Matthews comes back again, which he is going to have a bigger role, I'm down to watch as many of these as there are because it just works. I love all the showing the Crystal Lake signage, going through all the cabins, looking at all the old shit, where the bodies used to be with like the tags where the deaths were. That's amazing. This movie has great music, great cinematography. For a fan film, to be number 5 on my rankings is amazing. And I salute you, Vincent, for pumping out this great content to the fans who really need a Friday the 13th movie, and you're doing a hell of a damn good job. So thank you, sir. Number 4, Friday the 13th Part 3, 3D. I know a lot of people don't like this movie that much. They say it's boring and the characters are bleh. I love it. This movie is iconic. It's when Jason gets his hockey mask for the very first time. Yes, the 3D's corny as shit. I do not like that. Finally get to see, upon rewatch, I never noticed whenever Jason's walking through the sheets that he's still wearing the clothes from Part 2, which I thought was really cool once I saw that. I never noticed it. Then he gets his new gear, like that green Dickies shirt and those jeans. He shaved his head for some reason, but that's fine. He's played by Richard Brooker, who got freaking traps for days, like he's been lifting weights forever. This is the Jason that I think of when I think of Jason. I think of Part 3's Jason, Richard Brooker. The look is amazing, and that's what I see when I think of Jason. He kills it in the role. The kills in this movie are badass. Andy's kill, like I said in my Friday the 13th kill rankings, My #1 kill in the franchise. The handstand split down the middle. Oh man, that would hurt so bad.
Andy! Yeah? Are you still out there?
I mean, people hate Shelly. I don't mind Shelly. He's a little prankster guy. Chris, the final girl, she's not terrible. She has a backstory with Jason that doesn't really make any sense, but I could put that aside. The bikers are pretty cool in this movie. They're there just to be killed pretty much, but I enjoyed this movie. It doesn't take place at Camp Crystal Lake, per se, but it takes place at Higgins Haven, which is kind of around Camp Crystal Lake. That doesn't bother me. I just have the nostalgia for this movie. This is like the one that I went to as a kid to see Jason. It was this one. And yes, it doesn't hit for other people, but it hits for me. And that's why I got it at number 4 on this list. Number 3, Friday the 13th, 2009, the reboot. Derek Mears' Jason is badass. He killed it in the role, and I would love to see him come back to reprise his role in the future once he gets out of court. People don't like the characters in this film. I love the characters in this film. I love them all. We got the typical black guy, the Asian guy, the freaking stuck-up bitch and all that shit, the good girl, the douchebag Trent, which everybody hates, but I like him. I liked it. We hate him.
She's just trying to be nice, but you can't stay here. No offense, but this is a private party. I don't know you. No, you don't know me. That's so funny. I just said that. 2 seconds ago that I don't know you. I would probably leave soon before I get pissed off. Yeah.
Because when he dies, we're so satisfied that Jason took him out. So I don't understand the hate. Jared Padalecki as Clay is amazing. I loved him in the role as the brother looking for his lost sister. He's the main person we're focusing on throughout this movie, and I dig it. I liked him in House of Wax, even though he wasn't as good back then. A couple years later, he gets this role. He nails it for me. The kills are cool. Jason is brutal, vicious. The story's great. I love the intro. The first 20 minutes is the badass scene opening to a movie. Probably one of the best in horror movie history, in my opinion. Everything in this movie works for me. The soundtrack's great. The cinematography's great. I don't know why it gets the hate. It's Jason at the camp killing people. So what if he kidnapped somebody? He thought it looked like his mother, so he wanted to keep her to remind himself of his mother. Not a big deal. I love the film. That's why I got it at number 3. Number 2, a movie that's grown on me tremendously. Friday the 13th Part 2. Sackhead Jason. On a shirt right here, baby. James Grimm's trying to make a fan film, My Special Boy, about Sackhead Jason. Sackhead Jason is creepy as shit. Yes, he's smaller than the Jasons we've come to know, but it works. He's at the camp. Great characters. Best final girl in the series, Ginny. She's amazing. Paul, kind of the final guy. I don't know if he lived or died. I'm pretty sure he lived, though, in my opinion. He was awesome as well. His speech set the tone for that movie. I love the characters. We got another great kill in the franchise. Mark with the wheelchair kill. Spear through the shish kebab kill in the bed. This movie just got a lot going for it, and the look of Jason is creepy as shit, the hillbilly Jason. Yes, he's a little bit clumsier in this movie. We got the setup of his mom's head on the table. It works. Everything in this movie works for me, and it is better than the original, in my opinion. So that's why I had to put it at number 2. Only leaves 1 for number 1. Best in the franchise, Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter. The best in the franchise. Jason is at his best in this movie. Ted White, one of the best Jasons ever on screen. Kept his mask intact, the outfit the same as in Part 3. Continuation. New set of kids coming up to Camp Crystal Lake, the party for the weekend. Crispin Glover is the man, the Crispin Glover dance. Looking for the... Ted? Where's the corkscrew for the wine bottle? Ted?
Hey, Ted, where's that corkscrew, that fancy corkscrew for
him and Ted and Jimbo, those combos is amazing. They work so well together. That movie couldn't be without them. Trish is the final girl. She's okay. But this movie's based around Corey Feldman as Tommy Jarvis. Shaves his head. Epic ending scene to make himself look like Jason. Trish whacks that mask right off his face, and Tommy hops down to finish the job. Great special effects. Tom Savini came back, whacked Jason in the head with the machete, and as he slides down that machete, the effects are amazing. Tommy can't take it, sees him moving, whacks the shit out of him some more. Die! 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 Oh, this movie works. It's what you want in a Friday the 13th. One of the best slashers of all time. Definitely one of the best slashers from the 80s. Gives you everything you want in a Friday the 13th. The kills, the music, the characters. You fall in love with all of them. You don't hate any of them. It's just the best that there is in the franchise, in my opinion. I can't wait to hear what you guys think. What your #1 Friday the 13th is. I mean, you don't gotta leave your whole rankings. Maybe leave your top 5 in the comments below. Can't wait to see what you guys think. Can't wait to see what you guys think of my rankings. See if you think, damn, that guy's crazy. I ain't liking this guy no more. Or, damn, he's actually pretty good. I like these. Let me know your thoughts below. Friday the 13th. You can't beat it. One of the best franchises of all time. Thanks for checking the video out. And you guys have yourself a scary day.